Hello. Thank you so much for being here today. I would love if you would start by telling us a little bit about yourself, where you live, what you like to do outside of work.
Absolutely. So my name is Ina Wilme. Amber, it's just an honor to be on the Momentum Restart podcast. I so look up to you and all the amazing work you do with women so that they can be the moms and the business owners that they want to be. So thank you.
Thank
So excited for
you.
this conversation.
It's going to be good.
Yes, it's going to be amazing. So excited. So to answer your question, my name is Ina and I live in Edmonton, Alberta. So I'm in Canada and I've been here since I was a little girl. I was originally born in South Africa and we immigrated when I was very young. Now, what I love to do outside of work is to be a mom. Being a mom is the reason why I do everything else. It's the reason why I believe so strongly in pursuing my dreams because I want my baby, my 15-month-old Francis, to see me pursuing those dreams so that he can go out and do that as well. I want to build this legacy that where he looks back and he's like, my mom inspired me to go, and I can't even imagine what he's going to go do,
Right.
but I know it's going to be amazing
Yes.
and I want to be there for it. And yeah, so that's what I love to do outside of work because I consider my cello playing part of my work.
Right.
But although it is a creative practice for me, so that's like one of my foundational habits that I have in place.
I love that. And when you talk about, we were just talking about this quick before we recorded, about how passionate you are to talk about the thing that you love. And you can just hear it in your voice. And I know you're going to inspire so many today sharing your story. And you are a cellist, a incredibly talented cellist, and you have devoted your work to help others to use music to enhance all areas of their lives, just like you were
Mhm.
saying it's helped you. And why do you feel music is so essential for those listening, those working moms or high achievers, business owners? Why is it so essential for them?
Because it goes to the root of how you make decisions. Your brain, you can consider that to be the computer of everything else. Your brain is where you are creative. It's where you brainstorm for new business ideas. It's where you problem solve what to do when your toddler's having a tantrum in the grocery store. Your brain, if you take care of it in the most impactful and time sensitive way possible, then you can start showing up in the most amazing ways. And what I mean by that, and why I'm going like specifically to the brain, is because when you actually play the cello, your entire brain is developed all at the same time. They were actually putting a cellist under an MRI machine and they were studying what happens to her brain while she's playing the cello. And they noticed that all of the centers of the brain are interacting with each other. So, you listening, you may have heard of like the right brain being the creative side, the left brain being the more logical side. There's actually a way that you can develop both at the same time. And then those two parts of the brain, when they talk to each other, gives you this edge because you are able to take a big step back and really see what is most important in your life with the creative, big picture thinking brain. And then at the same time, still have that detailed view of those tactical next steps. A lot of women, especially entrepreneurs, they don't make time for these hobbies because they don't see it as very important from a time perspective, and I completely understand that as an entrepreneur, as a mom myself. These hobbies, we may think that it's just a waste of time because it's just for relaxation. Now, the cool thing about the cello is it's like the perfect hobby for the entrepreneur because it develops the same skill set in an area that is less pressure, and you can really relax your brain fully so that you can go and show up and be the person that you were put on this earth to be.
That's amazing. You touched on so many good points about things that stood out to me where when you talked about the toddler in the store, we can all relate to that. And then also carrying across to as an entrepreneur too. And it sounds like the way you're describing music, and I love your research back story because when it's put that way, like you said, so many of us women, especially working moms, we don't think that we have enough time for a hobby,
Mhm.
even though we should and enjoy a hobby just for fun. But when we're told that there's like a reason behind it and the science behind it, and all of a sudden all of our ears are perked up and we're realizing, oh, this is going to benefit me, it's going to benefit my family, my business. We're efficient women. So we want to make
Mhm.
sure that when we're doing something, it's going to benefit all areas of our life. So I
Mhm.
love that you mentioned all those different areas. And there's a lot of work from home moms who are listening to this podcast right now. And we're thinking, how do I even incorporate this? It's hard enough just to, how do I incorporate music or learning an instrument or incorporating music into my day to day life? Because it's hard enough just to manage all the things on their schedule. What would be some ways that they can incorporate it into their life?
That is such a fantastic question because as these hardworking moms and entrepreneurs, we immediately think about the tactical. Like, how can I actually do this? Because I can see the value. So, from a very practical perspective, you can truly learn an instrument in only 15 minutes a day.
Wow.
And those 15 minutes could actually be one of the most impactful parts of your day. So imagine this, you wake up before your kids are up, maybe at 5:30, 6 a.m., and you have this dedicated hour for your own self-development. Uh, Imagine that you go to your office, you see your cello in the corner, like, I just really want to start my day with music. So you grab it and you know exactly the right note to play, you know exactly the right sheet of music to open up, and you know exactly how to even play that music that you see. And then 15 minutes later, your brain feels alive. You've woken it up because when you play the cello, the whole brain works. There's this blood flow that goes to the brain. And that's how you become creative. Creativity, the root of it really is from you really are creative based on your emotions and your memories. Those are the only ways that we can really produce new ideas. We always produce new ideas from our experiences, from things we see around us. The cello develops the memory and it develops your emotional connection. So when you have that extra blood flow to the brain, you have these neurons firing, you do it in 15 minutes, then you go and sit down to do your reading, your journaling, maybe even a little bit of work on your book you're writing. You're going to be expanding that time. And this is where the time freedom of learning the cello comes in. The amount of creative work that you could get done in, let's say, the remaining 45 minutes will be 10x because of the initial input. You're setting yourself up for success. And then when that hour is over, you're going to be able to start your day with this momentum. And that's like what this podcast is all
Yes.
about. You're restarting your momentum every single day. And then you end the day feeling so satisfied, knowing that you actually moved the needle in your business instead of just maintaining it.
Right. And all of us need support in creativity. And no matter
Mhm.
how, if you're every one of us as a business owner, if you are whatever you do, you need creativity. And there's a certain point in the day or some days where you wake up and I just feel like I don't have it in me today. But you're
Yeah.
right. This is such a gift where you can turn on that creativity and set
Hmm.
yourself up for, and we talk about having an efficient, effective schedule here so that we have time to enjoy our lives. And this helps you be more effective and efficient
Hmm.
in your business because you're starting your day with your neurons firing and you are in the creative flow. And I've heard that
Yes.
too with music of, finding that flow state too that brings us the endorphins and the joy. And when
Hmm.
you're doing something that has that goal where you have to focus, but you also can just get carried away in it. And some people find it
Yeah.
running. I don't find it running, but some people find it in music. And
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
is what a beautiful way to start your day. How do you experience
Hmm.
music? How do you incorporate it into your daily life with working from home and with your baby
Mm.
too? Mm.
Yeah, so I do a combination of it. So some days I start my day exactly like I just described.
Yeah.
I started with music, but other days I think to myself, well, I'll do a little bit now, but I'm going to save some of what I want to practice for when I'm with Francis.
Yeah.
So one article that I read very recently is the number one reason why teenagers quit playing an instrument is because they didn't have a musical environment at home. So I am the type of person who always flips things to the positive. And I was like, okay, well, if that's the reason why they quit, then that must be the number one reason why kids start and why they must continue, is
Yes.
because their parents have created this love of music, just this environment where music is a natural part of your life. So to answer your original question, I actually saved some of my practicing to do with Francis, and he loves it. Like he looks up right away. Sometimes he just sits there for 30 to 60 seconds, which is crazy for a
Wow.
15-month-old.
Right.
Um, and then sometimes he hums
Oh,
while he's playing. And if I change the melody a little bit, he might giggle. I sometimes do different effects on the cello, like slides and interesting melodies to catch his attention, just to see like how he'll react. And the best part is that I actually played certain melodies when I was pregnant with him so that I could play those same melodies for him after he was born.
mm,
And one of them is Edelweiss. I sing this melody to him before every single nap, before every time I put him to bed. It's the Edelweiss,
yes.
Edelweiss. He loves it. And when I played on the cello, he lights up even more because the cello is the closest to the human voice.
Wow.
It's a recent conversation I had with a woman who is interested in learning the cello. She actually told me she's drawn to the sound because it sounds like her mother's voice. Like it
Wow.
just makes her think of her mom. She could hardly put it to words, but it just made her think of her mom. And by learning the cello as even a beginner, you can experience the deep tones that it has to offer. And you can inspire your kids with this music. So it doesn't have to happen when they're sleeping. In fact, you can build stronger bonds with them. And the musical way, like the sound waves, actually bring your brain waves in sync. It's just mind blowing, the research of
Wow.
live music, and you have the opportunity of creating this in your home. It's a
That's
beautiful,
amazing.
beautiful experience.
That's amazing. I hadn't heard that before about the brain waves connecting. That's incredible.
Mhm.
That makes sense. That really does, that shared experience with music and
Yeah.
just all different areas of life that you've touched of with our kids, with in business, with creativity and um also too just at the beginning when you were talking about being able to handle situations like with a crying toddler or maybe a really
Yeah.
stressful business situation and how music can really support our brains so that we can handle more.
Mhm.
And it's
Yes.
important to be able to have more capacity to handle more stress in a healthy way. And it's a
Hmm. Hmm.
beautiful gift to be able to have that. And so I know that on this podcast, we talk about decreasing things to hold us back and increasing the
Hmm.
things to move us forward. So, what if someone is saying, I'm just not musical or I just don't have the time? Speak to that woman who help her overcome this thing that's holding her back so she can
Hmm.
experience all the fruit from this.
Yes. And I want you to know, the person that is thinking this, that I really do understand. Like, you want to be doing something that you know you're going to see some measure of success in at one point. Like, you have to see the vision and be able to imagine yourself in it. So that's where I am going to help you with this. So let's look at the root of what even musical means. So if the other day I was actually looking this up because this is very common. One of the most common things I hear is people thinking they're not musical. And the number one thing that came up was someone who is musical is someone who has an interest in music. There was another side to it, people who are naturally talented at music. But what got them to even realize that they were talented in the first place? It was their interest in music. And if you have ever had any kind of interest in music, by definition, you are musical.
Yes.
And the second definition that I found is someone who's musical is someone who plays music. So if you think about like a runner, what does a runner do? They run.
Right.
Someone who's not a runner doesn't run. Someone who's not musical doesn't play music. So the only way to become musical is to start. And you don't have to be great to start. You just have to start to be great. And I wish I remembered who to give credit for that quote. I'm gonna
That
have
is
to look
good.
it up.
Yep.
I think it might be Zig Ziglar, but I want you to know that you have a musical gift inside of you. Every person is connected to music because it's a form of creation, and you are a creation by the most amazing creator. So you are capable of creating. And music is one of the most amazing ways of creating and becoming connected to your creator. So I want you to know that if you are feeling like you're not musical and that's the thing holding you back, give yourself the first chance. Start growing your tree. And what I mean by this is the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The next best time is now. And
Yes.
I actually have a challenge this month called the Make Music Challenge. It's happening on August 26th. It's going to be 3 days where you get to experience music, actually be an active participant. So I will make sure that Amber has the link and she
Yes,
can put it
please do.
in the show notes, because this is your chance. This is how you can take that first step to becoming musical. No one's born musical. Everyone becomes that way. And sometimes it's because they didn't have the opportunity. That's why maybe they're not like that. But here is your opportunity. And I
Yes.
can't wait to see you there.
I love that. And that your challenge is so incredible that you're helping women have the chance to learn, like you said, you just have to start. And if
Mhm.
you are such a encouraging, positive, we can hear just from everything today you've said, you've been able to find the positive in. And so you're going to be an amazing teacher. I know that you are, for anyone who signs up for this challenge. And we'll make sure to have that link in there for them too. And how else can people find you just to hear your beautiful music and be inspired by you too?
Yes. So the number one place that I'm most active on right now is Instagram. I am right in the middle of a 100 days of practice challenge. Today is day 43, so
Wow,
almost
almost
halfway.
halfway. That's amazing.
Yes. So if you have, number one, any ideas of songs you would love to hear on the cello, then send me a DM, because I am accepting all kinds of music recommendations, from classical to Taylor Swift to literally anything you can imagine. I love figuring out new ways of playing the cello. So send me
Wow.
your ideas. And if you're wondering what kind of music to send me, ask yourself this question: if you were to play the cello, what would be your dream song? Like, in a world where you knew that you could attain that goal, what would be your dream song? So send me
Ooh,
that, and I will ask you, where did you come from? Because was it from
yes.
this podcast? So
Yes, for
I would
sure.
love to hear.
I love that. I can't wait to hear what people ask you for. That's so fun and a cool challenge that you're putting out there for yourself too, and just leading the way and showing, living by example what you teach, which is really powerful. So I love hearing your music, and we want to get to know you a little bit better too, personally. So I have a couple questions to ask you,
Yeah.
that we always end our podcast with. Are you Actually, I don't know if we had a chance to talk about this one last time, but what
Mm.
is your favorite way to self-care? I'm curious
Mm.
if it's music involved.
It definitely is. My I would be crazy if I didn't include music in my
Right.
self-care based on what I believe, but I do a combination of things. So I really believe that stacking habits in a
Mhm.
certain order makes a really big difference. That's why if I start any kind of morning routine, I like to include music in it to begin with. So it's usually something to do with music, whether it's me listening to a song that I'm trying to figure out on the cello or practicing. But often it's strength training. I think that exercise is one of the most amazing ways to activate your brain, and studies have shown that it also prevents dementia in the same way that music does.
Right.
So I love to strength train. Like, the feeling so strong in my body, it reflects to how strong I want to feel in my brain.
Mm,
So when you do then the cello, it's like the full body workout for your brain. And then the strength training is the full body workout for your body, so that you can go and lift your toddler and carry them across the parking lot, or carry all the groceries or hold a screaming toddler while
Yep.
you're in the grocery store. So, if you do both, then you really are amazing. Like you have that edge.
That's
So,
so true. That is so true. To be supporting that self-care for your mind and your body. We need both.
mhm,
Absolutely. And
yeah,
playing music, especially a cello, that's a full body experience. You need to be
it
able to
is.
use
Yes.
use your body. When I'm teaching
Yes.
voice lessons too, I'm trying to teach kids to use their whole body. We need to use our whole body when
Hmm.
we're playing or piano or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We have to
Yeah.
use our body. So I love that you're
Hmm.
incorporating both. How about, are you a Starbucks girl? And if so, what is your go-to order?
I love Starbucks. Unfortunately, we recently moved somewhere where Starbucks, the nearest one, is 1 hour away.
Oh
So,
no.
needless to say, I'm saving a lot of money.
Yeah, no kidding.
But when I am at Starbucks, it's either a whole milk latte, like just standard unsweetened, or it's a crazy order of matcha with like oat milk, less ice, vanilla syrup. No, not vanilla syrup, the vanilla cold foam,
Hmm.
brown sugar syrup, and an extra scoop of matcha powder. So I had to
Yum.
really pull
Right?
from my
Like
long-term
it has
memory.
been a long time. That's good. That is good. But that sounds amazing. And we've never had the
It's
same
really
answer.
good.
We've never heard that one here. So that's
Interesting.
pretty awesome after over 100 episodes. That's pretty amazing. I love all of this. It was so good to get to know you better today and get to hear all of your expertise. We'll make sure everyone has your links and we will be following you on your 100 days of practicing. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Amber. This was the highlight of my day. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.